My name is Sian Deasy and I'm the Higher Education Manager at Yeovil College, and what that means is I look after all of the students who are studying degree level courses here at the college. So higher education sounds like a bit of a confusing label, but it refers to all of the study that people can do after they finish at sixth form or college. So first of all, to take a bit of a step back, let's think your educational journey probably starts at infant school or primary school. You move on through, you go to secondary school. At secondary school or maybe high school, you study for qualifications called GCSEs. The step after that, there are a few options. You might go to sixth form, you might go to college, you might go to a training provider, and you've got lots of options of qualifications. You could study for A-levels or T-levels or BTECs or an apprenticeship. Higher education is the bit after that. You might go to a university to study, you might study at a university centre or a college. The qualification that you study, the one we think of most commonly, is a degree. We think of someone going to university to study a degree as higher education, but there are other options in there as well, which we're going to find out a little bit more about. So, when you're thinking about where to study at higher education level, there are lots of different options. Some people might choose to move away to study. That might be the one that we think about most commonly. So some people choose to move elsewhere in the country. But you can also study locally, whether that's at a university centre or a college. You might also want to think about studying online. The Open University is the example people think of most often, but there are lots of ways to study for a degree level course online. Or you might choose to study at higher education level as part of a higher or degree apprenticeship. Much like with any apprenticeship model, you'll be in the workplace on a job and then be released for study part of the time. So there are lots of different ways of studying higher education. There are also an awful lot of qualifications. On the screen, you'll be able to see some of these. You don't need to worry too much about what they are or what their names are. They've all got a load of letters that go along with them. The important thing to know is that there are options. When we're thinking about higher education, there are big 3-year, 4-year, 5-year qualifications you can study, but there are also little chunks and you can study a year at a time if you'd prefer to study in a bite-sized way. So there are lots of different options to consider. So financial support is a really important point to touch on because lots of people panic a little bit when they think about degree level study in university in terms of money. There's a real common narrative that's not very true, that you've got to be rich to go to university. Couldn't be further from the truth. There's a system in this country called student finance, which is there to support people who want to study at university level. We won't go into it in too much detail today, but if you are a UK citizen, a UK domiciled, and you're studying at university level for the first time, then you should be able to access both a tuition fee loan to help you with covering the cost of your fees, and also a maintenance loan to help you with the cost of living while you're studying. If you're from a different group, you may well still be able to access student finance, but it is worth looking into that. And if you go to www.gov.uk/student finance, you'll be able to find an awful lot more information. It's also worth being aware that student finance don't just help with tuition fee loans and maintenance loans. There's also support there for other things. For example, students who have children of their own, students who are carers, or students who have a disability, learning difficulty, or long-term health condition. Now, support for students with disabilities, learning difficulties, and long-term health conditions comes from something called Disabled Students Allowances, or DSAs for short. DSAs are something that you apply for as a learner. And now that's quite different to what you might have experienced elsewhere at school or at college, where the support package is sort of set up with the school or the college and they then give that support to you. With DSAs, you're in the driving seat and you undertake an assessment, you work with professionals to figure out what support you need to be your best, whether that's support from people like learning support practitioners, whether that's specialist equipment or technology, and that support package is put together directly for you. If you think you might be eligible for DSAs and you're thinking about applying for university or degree level study, we would really encourage you to get in touch with the place you're applying to go. All universities, university centres will have a named disability advisor. That is a person whose job it is to support students applying for and when they get their DSAs and make sure everything is in place to support them in their studies. It's this person's job to do that. You are not being an inconvenience, you are not putting that person out. Get in touch with them at the earliest opportunity. I promise it will make both their life and your life easier if you get talking as soon as you can. There are lots of people who'll be able to help you if you're thinking about higher education and what that might mean. A first port of call is a careers advisor. Now, your school or college will probably have a member of staff or multiple staff members employed to support with careers. So find out if there's a careers advisor there that you can talk to, and they might be able to help you to plan out your next steps. There are also a lot of places that you can look online. There are lots of websites that are set up to support young people with navigating this, because it can feel like quite a lot. So have a look online, take your time, and if you've got any questions, get in touch with people. Universities are really big a lot of the time, and even small university centres like us love to hear from people. We love getting inquiries. So even if you're a little bit earlier in your journey and you've got a specific question, get in touch. Most universities and university centres will have an email address you can get in touch with. They might even have a chat bot on their website that you can talk to. So do try and get in touch for help. Also, have a look at some of these websites that we suggest. The Career Pilot website is a really great one for finding out about different jobs and the qualifications you might need to do that job. There's also a website there called UCAS, UCAS. UCAS is the way that people apply to university. What UCAS also has in it is tons of information about all of the degrees and university level qualifications that exist across the country. So if you're sat there thinking, well, I know I want to do a degree in history, for example, UCAS would be the place to go to look up history degrees, see history degrees all across the country and see what entry requirements they're looking for. There's also a few other websites on there that have really helpful information as you're trying to figure out these steps. So that was a bit of a whistle-stop tour of higher education. Important with everything we've talked about today to not panic and not let any of this be a worry. This is a step or two into the future, but it is worth having on your radars just so you're planning as best you can. If you've got any questions at all, then do have a look at some of those websites we've recommended, or reach out to someone. Maybe that's a careers advisor, a teacher, a parent, a trusted adult, because there'll be lots of people to support you with this decision.